Bridesmaids. The wise and the foolish. Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that need not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. 2 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 15. Moving right along, the allegory found in Matthew, chapter 25, verses 1-12, sums up the account of 10 bridesmaids awaiting the arrival of the bridegroom. Among them, 5 bridesmaids demonstrated wisdom by bringing extra oil for their lamps, whereas the other 5 were regarded as foolish for not bringing additional oil for their lamps. As the bridegroom fell behind schedule, all the bridesmaids drifted off to sleep. Upon his eventual appearance, the wise bridesmaids, equipped with their extra oil, accompanied him to the banquet, contrasting with the unpreparedness of the foolish bridesmaids who ran out of oil, were consequently left behind. This allegory underscores the importance of readiness and vigilance for the expected return of the Lord. The allegory elaborates on a magnificent display within a gallery, highlighting the intricacies and attraction of a description portraying the rituals and practices of weddings in ancient times. It underscores the view that pursuing uniformity in customs across diverse societies is unnecessary, acknowledging the diverse ways in which marriage rituals were conducted. The allegory looks into the wedding rituals, encompassing processions illuminated by firelit lamps and revelries held both outdoors and indoors. It vividly portrays the vibrant and festive ambience of these nocturnal celebrations, with numerous lights weaving and intersecting as the bridal entourage progresses along the winding route, recognizing a general similarity in approach rather than strict duplication of specific elements in traditional wedding ceremonies. The allegory discusses the customs surrounding weddings in ancient times, highlighting the ceremonial feasting typically held at the bride's father's or bridegroom's home, depending on their wealth. There was no strict tradition dictating the host of the main feast. The allegory implies that the procession of waiting virgins likely headed towards the bride's father's, or God's home, rather than returning with the bride to the groom's residence. These virgins symbolize the bride and are anticipating the delayed arrival of the bridegroom. The house where the foolish virgins were barred from entry was the venue for the elaborate marriage celebration, and exclusion meant missing the wedding altogether. The setting portrays the 10 virgins, dressed in the clothing of that era, waiting by the roadside at night, setting a scene filled with anticipation and symbolism. A collection of youthful maidens, who served as either the bride's attendants or daughters of nearby families, eagerly awaited the bridegroom's arrival for the wedding celebration. Each carried a torch, yet a few neglected to carry spare oil. Upon hearing the announcement of the bridegroom's advancing arrival, they all roused from slumber and attempted to ignite their torches. Regrettably, some found themselves unable to do so due to a lack of oil. The moral of this emphasizes the importance of preparedness and ensuring a sufficient supply of provisions for unforeseen circumstances. The allegory of the 5 foolish maidens who found themselves without oil, consequently missing the arrival of the bridegroom, conveys a profound teaching on readiness and the perils of procrastination. Those who had prepared adequately were admitted to the celebration, contrasting with the unfortunate elimination of the not prepared maidens. The allegory illustrates a segment of the community that hears the gospel, embraces its principles, and declares themselves followers of Christ. Within this group, the virgins symbolize a mix of authenticity and pretense, with 5 embodying each quality. Venturing out with their lamps to greet the bridegroom signifies a public declaration of belief in Jesus, the Christ. However, not all who make such declarations may possess genuine faith. This underscores the significance of genuine commitment and sincere belief, emphasizing the necessity of steadfast dedication to maintain true faith. The allegory emphasizes the significance of readiness for Christ's second coming. It depicts 5 virgins as wise and 5 as foolish. The wise virgins, equipped with additional oil to sustain their lamps, symbolized the presence of the Holy Spirit within a believer's soul. This allegory underscores the necessity of spiritual preparedness and fostering a connection with God. The allegory examines the contrast between believers who simply have convictions and professions of faith and those who have genuinely developed a profound spiritual life through the influence of the Holy Spirit. It employs the action of the bridegroom delaying his arrival to depict how believers across various eras have anticipated the Lord's return. Emphasizing the significance of vigilance and spiritual readiness over concentrating solely on the physical event of Christ's coming, it underscores the lesson of being watchful and spiritually attuned as a central theme. The waiting virgins underscores the need for believers to harmonize their spiritual aspirations with the responsibilities of everyday life. It is customary for individuals to address earthly matters while anticipating the second coming of Jesus, the Christ. While some may find themselves unready, their spiritual condition ultimately controls their reception upon the arrival of the bridegroom. The crucial factor lies in remaining spiritually alert and prepared, regardless of whether one is occupied with worldly tasks or spiritual devotion. When the unprepared virgins requested oil from the wise ones, they were unwilling to provide assistance, highlighting the significance of individual spiritual preparedness and the necessity of personal faith rather than depending on others for salvation. This highlights the principle that genuine Christians are unable to impart their spiritual readiness to those who have not readied themselves. The 5 wise virgins represent readiness as they had made prior arrangements, contrasting with the unpreparedness of the foolish virgins who had squandered their chance. This allegory emphasizes that salvation hinges not on 11th-hour activities but on a steadfast communion with God and His Holy Spirit. The allegory emphasizes the significance of readiness for the second coming of Christ. It highlights the distinction between wise believers who remained prepared and foolish ones who procrastinated seeking salvation. The underlying lesson warns against postponing acceptance of Jesus, the Christ, as delaying may result in being left behind upon His return. The main message underscores the importance of vigilance and preparedness for His imminent arrival. This allegory serves as a word to the wise, underscoring the significance of readiness and the pursuit of redemption before it becomes unattainable. It emphasizes the advantage of taking action promptly rather than regretting delays later on. Much like a lighthouse guides sailors away from danger, the allegory advises us to embrace salvation promptly rather than delaying until it's too late. It serves as an encouragement to be mindful of God's call without delay, recognizing that the window of opportunity may close unexpectedly. Peace, once again, study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that need not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. 2 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 15.